welcome to our show, Health and Wellness Myths versus Facts. The definition of health goes way beyond the absence of disease. The pandemic has thrown mental health as well as physical health and wellness into sharp focus. It's forced us to be more aware and more careful, both for our own sakes as well as for those around us. What we need more than anything else is correct information about health, about managing our wellness. The right medical care and accurate medical information is more important than ever before, especially when there are all kinds of myths and rumors floating around on social media. Awareness of disease and its symptoms is essential for screening and early detection. Chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease have been complicated by the presence of COVID. It is essential to identify symptoms early and take corrective steps. Our doctors provide you with information to do just that. Let me in fact introduce you to our panel at this point. Dr. A. Vivekanandan, MD, General Medicine, Consultant Physician and Assistant Professor of Medicine at the Anna Memorial Cancer Institute in Kanchipuram, is with us. We're also being joined by Dr. Hemi Soneja, MBBS, DGO, Diplomate of the American Board of Family Medicine, Diplomate of the American Board of Obesity Medicine, PG Diabetes Diploma United Kingdom, PG Diploma in Endocrinology in the United Kingdom, Senior Consultant Diabetes and Obesity Medicine at the Max Smart Super Speciality Hospital in Delhi. Thank you both very much indeed for being with us today. Dr. Soneja, let me begin with you. Now, though awareness about metabolic disorders is increasing, people perhaps still don't know what exact warning signs they should be looking out for, when it should clearly tell them that it's time for a diabetes test. Could you please list out common symptoms? Are there any, in fact? And should testing be made mandatory after a certain age?
Thank you so much for organizing this. And I think this is one of the very common problems which is happening, not just in India, but worldwide. And unfortunately, most of the time, people do not have any symptoms whatsoever with diabetes. Still, it is not at a very high level. Some people, when they do have symptoms, can have issues with increased hunger, increased thirst. They might need to go to the washroom more often. Delayed wound healing, any of the infections not recovering well on time. They can also have issues with nerve pains, which might actually be the first symptom of diabetes in some people. At times, they might even come with a heart attack and they're diagnosed to have issues with diabetes alongside. So most importantly, there are no symptoms, and that is why screening for diabetes becomes a very important thing to do. As such, for Indian population, it is recommended that everybody above 30 years of age should be screened for diabetes by different kinds of blood tests. And if there is a family history of diabetes, or somebody has herself had issues with gestational diabetes, which is pregnancy-related diabetes before, or they are overweight or obese, or if they have any symptoms at all, then of course they should be checked even earlier. Even in children with childhood obesity, we recommend screening for their blood sugar levels.
All right. So you're saying, regular testing post 30, if there are no other known risk factors, and, if there are, then of course there's got to be sort of frequent testing even before the age of 30. That's very interesting. Dr. Vivekanandan, let me ask you, lockdown conditions, thanks to the COVID pandemic, have also led to several unhealthy habits, poor diet, lack of physical activity, people's smoking levels and alcohol use has gone up in certain cases. How has this had an impact on, the heart health of specific individuals? Not just those who already have disorders to begin with, but normal healthy individuals.
Thank you, madam. The lockdown has many of its implications. People used to confine themselves in the homes. So there are positive aspects and negative aspects. People consume the home food. People spend time with the children, the family members. Often they smoke little or avoid smoking, or they consume alcohol very little. So these are the positive effects. But the flip side is they are rarely moving out of the home. So there are more sitting idle times. So this definitely increases the risk of obesity, and in the long term, this may adversely affect the heart health of the individual. So that is the thing.
Right. Just to follow up to that, Dr. Suneja, youngsters have been also affected. It isn't just sort of adults with known conditions. Their active lifestyle has also been paused. There's not enough playtime. They're not running around with other children in playgrounds. And because of that, screen time has also increased. Is this worrying, and could this in fact lead to more type 2 diabetes in young people?
It sure is worrying because it is indirectly leading to increased issues with obesity. And with Indian population, the problem is that we tend to have more of a belly fat issue, which increases our insulin resistance. We are genetically at a higher risk of developing issues with diabetes. It further gets aggravated by these lifestyle issues significantly. And not just that, the increased screen time, increased sedentary time is associated with other medical problems as well. It affects our mental health also. It affects our joint health, in addition to just increasing issues with metabolic problems. And young people getting issues with obesity, getting issues with high sugars early on in life, it just translates into a higher risk of them having issues with diabetes-related complications also in the long run. So it definitely is a big problem.
Right. Dr. Vivekanandan, high cholesterol can be the result of unhealthy lifestyle choices, but there are those occasions when in some people who otherwise lead a very healthy life, eat a healthy diet, they can still have high cholesterol. And so what exactly causes this then?
So the most common cause of high cholesterol levels in our setting is due to poor healthy lifestyle and poor dietary patterns.
Okay.
But still, many patients are having high cholesterol in spite of having lean body mass and having properly following the healthy diet. The causes could be either due to presence of other diseases like disease of kidneys or disease of liver, thyroid problems, medications that interfere with cholesterol levels, even alcohol consumption, cigarette smoking. So, in spite of that, there is one more entity called familial disorders. So, the cholesterol levels, high cholesterol levels runs in the families. So, it's predicted that 1 in 300 individuals can have a familial risk of high cholesterol levels. So, these patients also increase risk of premature heart attack or premature dying even.
Right.
So, they have even very high levels of cholesterol. So, this could be the reasons.
Right, right. Is it true that a person with diabetes is actually at a higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease? Just how exactly does diabetes affect the heart?
Definitely, the risk of heart attacks and the risk of other end-organ problems like kidney problems will be higher with diabetes. So it is mandatory to screen the diabetes at an early age and treat it accordingly. Most of the patients go to the hospitals, but they don't get treated properly. Means their sugars will not be under control. So definitely, the risk of heart attack is higher in patients with diabetes. So we call this as a macrovascular complications that affecting the large blood vessels. And also there is a risk of other complications like eye problems. They can lose the vision, and there are problems with the nerves. They cannot feel what is below their legs. So they are prone to injuries, and their poor wound healing, everything will cause.
Dr. Hemi Suneja, if we can come back to you, the same question to you.
Yes, sure. I agree with Dr. Vivekananda on that. Diabetes is a disease of complications. It affects the blood vessels from head to toe. Right. So that is the reason we see different complications like heart attack at an early age, issues with congestive heart failure or weak heart at an early age, issue with stroke at a young age. So all of these things, which otherwise we used to see at a much later age group, nowadays we see that at a much younger age group, right, in patients with diabetes, and it affects the blood vessels in the kidneys and in the nerves as well. So all of these problems are really arising because of that stiffening of the blood vessels.
We've all been talking about how there are increased levels of stress during a pandemic, lack of clarity about the future, it could be job prospects, it could be the illness of a loved one, it could generally be uncertainty. Can high stress levels along with sort of sedentary lifestyles also forced by lockdowns, etc., actually increase the incidence of heart disease? Is there a direct correlation between stress and heart trouble?
Yes, ma'am. There is a direct correlation between the stress and the heart problem. So increased stress, people used to confined inside their homes. There are lack of job clarity, especially in the people who are just passing out of the college. So these people should concentrate more on improving the skills and utilize the time to tone up their bodies so that they can avoid the complications, because we are now seeing heart attacks in much younger groups, even 20s, 25s, especially the male population, they are more commonly involved. So definitely the stress is a factor. Stress may influence the patient to go and get addicted to alcohol or smoking. That's again one more risk factor for heart attacks.
We'll take a very quick break on health and wellness, myths versus facts, but be back in just a moment with our medical experts who will be answering all your questions. Welcome back to Health and Wellness, Myths versus Facts. We believe that awareness of disease and its symptoms is essential for screening and early detection, and chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease have also been further complicated by the presence of COVID, which is why it's essential to identify symptoms early and take corrective steps. Our doctors are providing you with all the information you need to do precisely that. We have Dr. Hemi Saneja and Dr. A. Vivekanandan with us today. Dr. Saneja, while there's no cure, of course, for type 2 diabetes, some articles claim that you can reverse diabetes. Is that possible? And if so, how can you do that?
So I think we definitely are seeing that ray of hope regarding diabetes when we look at these articles which claim to be talking about diabetes prevention. One thing to remember is that it is not a blanket statement. There are certain individuals who might be able to reverse their diabetes, but it is not something for which we would say that there is a cure available for that at this time. It is something which has to be done in discussion with your doctor. A lot of times what people think is that, oh, my blood levels are well, I can take my medication. It doesn't work like that. Diabetes is a condition in which essentially there is either issue with insulin production or issue with insulin resistance, meaning that the insulin is not working properly in the body. Depending on what kind of a basic problem is going on in the body, according to that, we as physicians can guide you regarding what to do to help manage your diabetes better. Significantly overweight or obese are the ones who can try and work on reversing their diabetes by working on weight loss. And with that, there are different ways and means of doing that, right from medications to bariatric surgery or diabetic surgery now being done and used to help people with achieving diabetes remission. Yes, there are a lot of studies which talk about this. And,
yes.
This does need a work between patient and the doctor together.
All right. Dr. Vivekanandan, sleep apnea is a potentially serious sleep disorder. Is there a link between sleep apnea and heart disease? And how can someone prevent heart disease if indeed he or she is suffering from sleep apnea?
Yes, sir. Sleep apnea is called pauses in breath while sleeping. So this makes the patient not to have an in-depth sleep. So they have shallow sleep. So there is many awakenings or gasping for breath inside during the sleep. So the patient didn't have a good quality sleep. So it increases risk of daytime somnolence or increased urination, or it also affects our body metabolism, hormones, etc. So the sleep apnea will increase the risk of hypertension and diabetes. There is a direct correlation between sleep apnea and the development of heart problems, heart rhythm problems, and even heart attacks. So it is already proven, even if the patient is not obese, the patient can develop sleep apnea due to some other causes, the patient can land on to the cardiac complications. There is a direct link.
Right. One more question to you, Dr. Vivekanandan. Now, cardiac surgery is obviously a stressful life event. It's associated with sort of physical and psychological effects. There's anxiety, fear, depression, pain, of course. In such a situation, can home-based cardiac rehabilitation help people, especially during a pandemic?
The cardiac rehabilitation usually offered to a complex heart surgeries, like heart bypass surgery or wall replacement surgeries, but it is usually done in a supervised setting. There is a team of doctors, the cardiologists, nutrition therapists, physiotherapists, and exercise therapists. So it is offered in a sessions, an hour-long session offered in a hospital, usually after 1 week or 10 days after surgery. It used to improve the vocational status, confidence, and get rid of the depression or anxiety that the patient is going to face after surgery. The patient may think, I have underwent the heart surgery, I cannot do this work, I cannot do that work. So the rehabilitation program is to ensure the confidence of the patient. But in the home setting, it is not advisable at the present, because it should be done in a supervised manner. So once the patient undergoes supervised training program, then the patient can come to home and can practice those exercises which are taught in the same intensity. The patient should not increase the intensity of the exercise. The patient should do the exercise in the same intensity. So, can be done at home.
Dr. Vivekanandan, Dr. Suneja, thank you both for joining us on this special program today and answering that range of questions on diabetes and cardiac conditions and how to maintain both and be extra careful in monitoring and also keeping up with healthy lifestyles. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.